Hello year 4. In this video we'll start explaining your textbook page 128, so make sure to pause the video and bring your book. It's page 128. In this page we will discuss together the writing that we have in unit 8, which is about an explanatory text. We mentioned before what the meaning of explanatory text. Try to remember with me. Okay, in page 129 we have here the meaning of the explanatory text, which is explain something. So in this explanatory text we will explain something. We will explain the water cycle. Let's read together the model writing that we have and try to find the features. I have, first of all, the water cycle. What about the water cycle? This is what? The water cycle is the title. So this is number 1. After that we have here the water cycle is the journey water takes between the sea and the land and the sky. What about these 3 lines? These 3 lines are called an opening statement. They are like an introduction, okay? So they are called an opening statement. And as I mentioned, it's like an introduction. After that we have here some numbers. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? And after number 1 I have here an arrow that leads me to number 2. Another arrow leads me number 3. Another arrow leads me to number 4. Another arrow leads me number 5, and the last arrow, that means the cycle, will start one more time, okay? What do you think if I start reading from number 5, then number 4, then number 3, and so on? Will I understand anything? Of course not. I have to follow the numbers because they are like steps, okay? That's why I have to follow the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So as we mentioned, the first feature will be the title. The second one will be an opening statement. That means an introduction. Number 3, I have to present my text, my explanatory text, in a flow chart like the one that we have here. This is called flow chart, which is divided into squares, okay? And each square has only one idea, and we have here numbers, okay? And we have arrows in order to know from where should I start. This is called a flow chart. And also it will be correct if you will present your explanatory text in paragraphs. Both will be correct. To write in a flowchart or to write in or to present them in paragraphs. Both will be correct. Okay, let's start reading number 1 together. Heat from the sun together with the wind causes water to evaporate and turn into water vapor. That means a gas. I have here word between brackets, which is a gas. What about this gas? Which word has the same meaning of gas? The word vapor, okay? So we have a new feature which is explains difficult words. You have to bring your pen or your pencil and you have to underline these features with me, okay? So the 4th one will be explains difficult words. Okay, let's move to number 2. Next, The water vapor rises to the sky. As it cools, it begins to form water droplets, which in turn form clouds. What do I have here? I have here next and as. What about next and as? They are called connectives. Can you remember connectives? As we mentioned before, we have effective and cause connectives, effect and cause connectives. We have time connectives and so on. We have here next is time connective, and as this is like rational connectives. Okay. Let's read number 3. Wind carries the clouds over the land and the water falls as rain or snow. Number 4. The rain runs off into streams and rivers, which flow into the sea. It also soaks through the soil. This water is called groundwater. What about also? It's a connective as well. Number 5, then. Then the warmth of the sun makes the water evaporate into water vapor and the cycle begins again. What about then? Then as well is a time connective. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Try to think with me. What do you think about this text? Do you think is it a fiction or non-fiction text? Do we have here any talking animals? Of course not. So this text or the explanatory text must be non-fiction. Why? Because I'm speaking about some facts, scientific facts. So it's not allowed to use any fiction. It must be non-fiction. I have here real information, some scientific information, okay? And what about the language? The language that you should use will be formal language. And what about the tense? The tense is the present simple. Okay? The present simple, we don't use any future or past, only present. To put the verb in the original form, in the base form, like play, or to add ses or ies with he, she, and it, or any singular noun. Okay? Let's move to the next page. But just remember with me the features. We have number 1, the title. We have an opening statement like an introduction. We have to explain the difficult words. We have to use some connectives. I can present my explanatory text in a flowchart or paragraphs. The text should be non-fiction. That means real one. I have to use formal language and I have to use the present simple.